Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the remainder of the Raw review for the 31st of December, or I'm sorry, 31st of January. Yeah, 2022. I don't know. Show's kind of weak. Recap of Bobby Lashley beating Brock Lesnar for the championship with the help of Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman before Lesnar went on to win the Men's Royal Rumble. They announced that Ronda Rousey would appear on the program tonight. Adam Pearce welcomed people to Raw. Lashley would defend the title at the Elimination Chamber in 3 weeks. Why would anybody care exactly? Bobby Lashley is in a suit and he is out there. MVP interrupts him. MVP is angry over Pearce's announcement and called it unfair. Lashley wanted to be out celebrating his win over Lesnar. Lashley proved that he's the better amateur wrestler, better mixed martial artist, and a better champion. Lashley then calls himself the Beast and the Conqueror. Brock Lesnar, dressed in decent gear, interrupts and he's smiling. MVP tried speaking, but Lesnar told him to shut up or else he'd stick the cane up his, backside. Lesnar only won the match because Reigns and Heyman had interfered, and he's no pride in the victory. Lesnar wasn't mad at Lashley, but he's mad at Reigns and Heyman. Lesnar said he won the Royal Rumble, got his choice of WrestleMania opponent. Lesnar told Lashley not to worry because he planned on facing Reigns at Mania. Lesnar then showed up dressed to fight because he wanted the title rematch tonight. Crowd is nuts for this. Lashley is happy to do it, but MVP talks him out of it. MVP told Lesnar to go to the back of the line. Lesnar called Lashley a chicken. And then MVP begged Lashley to back off. Lashley and MVP left as Lesnar screams about their lack of forthrightness. Pearce announced that Lesnar would be one of Lashley's 5 opponents in the Elimination Chamber match. Lesnar is happy with this. Rhea Ripley defeats Nikki Ash, 8 minutes 10 seconds. Ripley is in control. Basically gets her wrapped up in the ring skirt. Nikki trips and hammers away and sends us to break a minute and a half into the match. Nikki then remained in control. Ripley blocks Tornado DDT and follows up with a short arm clothesline and a headbutt, snapmares, low blow, low drop kick, thrust kicks, and a Northern Light suplex for a near fall. Nikki fights Ripley off of the buckle and hits Tornado DDT for a near fall of her own. Nikki sets up a move, but Ripley counters and Riptide for the pinfall win. I guess this is fine. Alpha Academy Academic Challenge, Scooter Race, which is just goofy and goofiness throughout the show for the sake of, filling time, because we have all this time to fill and no one that cares about building stories that matter on a consistent basis. We'll be back right after this in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. And again, to be completely transparent, also, Raw has been an abysmal show for years, probably since the dawn of the 3-hour Raw, maybe even longer. I don't know. All I know is that going back and doing 1,500 Raw reviews, I'll be into it for about 4 years of the show, the first 4 years, because that's when wrestling was enjoyable. But when you get to 99, 2000 and all that, there's good matches and good segments, but good shows? Nah, not really. Anyway, so kind of going forward there. And again, Raw kind of being one of those shows that if like the Scooter thing, Matt Riddle is a super talented guy. Matt Riddle is a guy that they could easily build the future of the company around and could have for the last 3 years, but they waste this way. So they begin backstage. Competitors are writing are Riddle and Gable. Riddle dedicates the race to Randy Orton, which is just stupid. Anyway, Gable said it's ridiculous that the scooter race would be part of an academic challenge. Gable is also confident because he has contacted some Olympic buddies who provided him with a speed suit. Riddle said his hair would give him added acceleration. goofiness. Anyway, Kevin Patrick explained rules that have to take 50 laps around the ring before finishing at ringside, or around the arena before finishing at ringside. R-Truth waves a flag to start the race, and they take off. Obviously, Alexa Bliss in her first segment of the day. Bliss is back at the psychiatrist's office wearing all black and gray. Bliss assured the psychiatrist that Lily was real. He then asked her how she reacted if Lily was returned to her. Bliss said she'd dress her up in pajamas and watch horror movies with her because she liked that. He presented her with a toy replica of Lily, who, emphasizing that it was just a replica, Bliss perked up and said, Lily, in a heartfelt tone, this is just goofy. Miz defeats Dominic Mysterio with Rey Mysterio, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. So you have a promising guy like Dominic Mysterio, and you waste him in less than 18 months. Miz pushes Rey down on the outside of the ring. Maybe there's a distraction win at some point. The referee checked on Dominic. Miz trips after hitting the ropes and blamed it on Rey, who did nothing. Ref tosses Rey from ringside. Rey protested and leaves. Distracted Dominic, and Miz gives him the skull-crushing finale for the pinfall win. Certainly a burial of Dominic Mysterio. Tamina tries attacking Dana Brooke in the back for the 24/7 title, but Brooke manages to escape. Riddle and Gable scooted past them. Gable and Riddle were in 18 of 50. Gable takes the lead after Riddle bumps into Omos. Yes, I actually just said that. Anyway, second hour begins with a KO show. Seth Rollins is the guest. Owens said WrestleMania was 2 nights this year, which meant double the stupendousness. Is that even a word? Anyway, he announced that he would be in the Elimination Chamber because he beat the protected and sheltered wannabe superstar Austin Theory. Not that that's a great thing either. Anyway, Owens introduces the guest, and a man who should be Universal Champion, Seth Rollins. Owens then thanked Rollins for joining him. Rollins said that he's happy to be the hottest town in the country right now. Cincinnati is happy with that. Owens then played replay of what happened in Rollins' match on Saturday. Owens claimed that Reigns got himself intentionally disqualified because he knew Rollins would win. Owens and Rollins may not officially be Universal Champion in his heart. Rollins appreciates that. Rollins then said he may not be champion, but he did acquire something valuable, a permanent space in the brain of Roman Reigns. Rollins then said he'd use that to his advantage and beat him for the title one day. However, that was SmackDown business. Rollins announced that he'd be competing in the Elimination Chamber match. Owens acted like he's happy, but then also surprised. Rollins then said he didn't have to qualify. Rollins then said it's because of his performance at the Rumble. Owens thought Rollins should tell Pierce and Sonya Deville that they should automatically enter Owens into the chamber. If they didn't, Rollins should then back out. Rollins then didn't like that idea and didn't seem to believe Owens when he said he would do the same thing for him. Before they could discuss this, the segment ended because Austin Theory enters. Music for his match. Rollins then seems to be positioned as the babyface in this elimination qualifier match. Austin Theory defeats Kevin Owens 11 minutes 29 seconds. Good match. Austin Theory qualifies for the chamber. Owens is in full control. Theory catches him with a boot outside the ring before driving him backwards into the steel steps. Looked like it hurt, sounded like it hurt, probably hurt. Anyway, Owens fights back after the break, hits an Enzigurina DDT. Owens tries a double jump moonsault. Theory gets out of the way and hits a gutbuster for a 2 count. Owens then follows up with a super kick and senton for a near fall. Owens hits an avalanche fisherman buster, but Theory barely gets his foot on the rope there. After that, Owens pushes Theory back into the ring. Theory kicks off in the middle into Owens as he is entering. Theory follows up with the ATL pinfall win. Owens then wrestles like a babyface. The crowd is into him. Riddle and friends are still zooming on their useless scooters, and we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb steak. And again, I mean, ultimately, this whole concept is more time killing than anything really, truly useful on the Raw program at this point. I mean, think about that. 4,500 hours of television. We'll cut that down to, maybe like 3,000 hours, but still, how many people can say that Raw is a memorable show most weeks? It's not really there. Riddle zooms by. Street Profits on their back as cheers them on. Gable stops and stops upon seeing them and asks for a drink so he can stay hydrated. They blow him off and let Otis showing up, handing Gable his cup. Gable then is disgusted when he realizes that it's filled with steak sauce. Otis then assured him it's the best steak sauce, and there's no comfort to Gable, who didn't want all that sodium, and the race is now at 39 of 50. Dawkins with Montez Ford defeats Dolph Ziggler for 28. Ziggler immediately hits a running knee for near fall and is in control until Dawkins nails him with a right hand. Dawkins makes a comeback and hits a bulldog for near fall. Ziggler then responds with a DDT for near fall. They exchange counters. Dawkins hits the silencer for the pinfall. Crowd is happy that he wins. And then Veer is coming. He speaks and said he's ready to strike. Does anyone really care? Conclusion of the scooter race. Patrick's with R-Truth at the finish line. Patrick asks Truth who he thought would win, and he said the Bengals. The crowd cheers for this. Gable and Riddle run their way down the ramp. Gable then trips at the bottom of the ramp and falls off the scooter. Riddle then manages to have it won, but Otis, wearing a speed suit, runs after him and runs him over before he can hit the finish line. Gable pops back into the scooter and does a circle around Riddle and crosses the finish line. Gable wins. Does this actually add something to wanting to see these people fight? Anyway, Riddle grabs the mic and said he ruined the integrity of the scooter race. Gable said he was no cheater. He didn't cheat at the Olympics. He didn't cheat when he entered his master's degree. Gable figured Riddle wanted a match. Gable is angry at Riddle for running into the student, so he gave him a match against Otis. Pierce enters for the match to now that it's a chamber qualifier. And then Elimination Chamber qualifier. Riddle defeated tag team champion Otis with Chad Gable. Otis controls the match and fights off a bunch of comeback attempts by Riddle. Riddle does mount a comeback and hits a knee strike following a senton into Otis's legs. Otis blocks the RKO, but Riddle catches him with a floating bro for the pinfall win. Riddle qualifies for the chamber. Crowd likes Riddle, pops for the win. And we're into the third hour. Bianca Belair defeats Carmella, 5:32. Bianca and Carmella enters as they go to commercial, and they return. Carmella is putting the mask on as they return, as if the 5 minutes that existed, or the few minutes that existed during the commercial break, she couldn't figure to do this. Belair threatens to hit Carmella with her braids, so she ducks and shrieks. Belair shoves her down. Carmella slaps her. Belair chases her around the ring and knocks her down with a shoulder tackle. However, Carmella yanks Belair into the turnbuckle and takes over. Carmella then hits a chinlock for what feels like 10 minutes until Belair powers out and it hits the KOD for the pinfall win. Alexa Bliss, segment number 2. They continued from the previous segment. Bliss tells the doll, Lily, I missed you so much. Psychiatrist flat out told her that he bought the doll at the WWE shop, and he said he could hold her and see it for herself, and then ultimately she tears up over this. Gable tells Patrick that this is the third academic challenge would be a quiz bowl. He said that Riddle and Orton would lose quiz bowl just like the Bengals would lose their bowl game. RK Bro won't get a title rematch. Elimination Chamber qualifier. AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, 11:36. They shake hands at the start of the match. Ray sends Styles into the barricade. Styles has chinlock when he returns, but Mysterio fights out. It's tilt-a-whirl DDT followed by a springboard crossbody for a near fall. Styles comes back with a forearm and a carry neckbreaker for the 2. Styles ducked 619, but Mysterio ducks a phantom forearm. Follows up with a kick to the head for a near fall. And ultimately, Ray then manages to block a middle rope Styles clash, followed by a 619. Styles avoids a frog splash. Ray catches him with a crucifix pin for a near fall. Styles comes right back with a Pele kick, but Ray counters Styles clash again. Styles counters, seated senton, and finally hits Styles clash for the pinfall win. Styles qualifies for the Chamber. Best match of the night. Lashley, Lesnar, Rollins, Riddle, Styles, Theory is your Chamber deal. And then we're finally to the main event segment, which, I don't know, it was fine, but it kind of fell flat. Ronda Rousey enters to big reaction. Seemed like she's trying to kind of beg it off. She reads her lines and doesn't say much. She essentially said that she wants Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, who constantly referred to her as Rebecca, and then they were secretary to her. She calls herself the baddest chick on the planet, drops the mic. Lynch enters, acted amused by Rousey, and using her government name. She then said she's the only one who could beat Rousey, and nobody had beaten her for the title since. She understood if Rousey wanted to choose Charlotte as an appetizer, but she was happy if Rousey wanted to go straight to the meat and potatoes of the match. Lynch asked Rousey who she was choosing. Rousey told Lynch, took Lynch down by the arm and then teased doing an armbar, but instead announced she'd get an answer on Friday. Lynch then grabs the mic and claims Rousey wants nothing to do with her, at least wanted to get away from Cincinnati even faster than she did. Lita enters, the crowd chants her name. Lita agrees with Lynch that Rousey was being rude. Lita puts her over, and Lynch said that she's always been a fan of Lita's. Lita said she was always up for a challenge, and Lynch wondered if she was what she's getting at. Lita challenged her for a match at the Elimination Chamber. Lynch immediately said no. Lita said she could admit if she's scared. Lynch accepts the match, but seemed to regret her decision. Lita's music ends the show, and it's just flat. I mean, this is night after the Royal Rumble, and all I'm thinking is, where is the WrestleMania season that carried us for years? Anyway, we'll be back right after this.